Y'all, I am so excited to watch a brand new season of Danmachi, and what in the hell is this? Is Danmachi a HIDIVE exclusive now? They took my boy Bell hostage! Alright, whatever, it's fine, it's cool. I've got a HIDIVE sub already. But, what about you? I know for a lot of people, HIDIVE isn't even on their radar for anime streaming services. But it seems like every season there's at least one S-tier show relegated to HIDIVE hell. This season it's Danmachi, last season it was ya boy Kong Ming, next season who knows what it'll be. And you're asking yourself, should I sub to HIDIVE? So today, let's take a closer look at HIDIVE. What shiny exclusives does it have? What features? How's the viewing experience? Don't worry, your boy Milo is here to answer all your questions and more. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of today's video. The very first point in HIDIVE's favor?
Smut.
Don't you look at me like that. I have it from very reliable sources that both men and women have nipples. Most of the time, though, we're thwarted by what I like to call completely unnecessary covering kits, aka cucks. One of HIDIVE's high points is that you're able to stream the DVD version of many shows. That means you get to watch the show as Kami-sama and the animators intended, uncensored. Unfortunately, the pickings are pretty slim right now in the skinship department, but they add new shows now and then, and besides, censorship isn't just something that affects wardrobe. A lot gets cut from TV, and on HIDIVE, you can watch a lot of shows in all their uncensored glory. Okay, so we like violence, nudity, and a nitload of swearing. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, this sounds like the promised land. Maybe I should just ditch Crunchyroll entirely for HIDIVE. Well, no. HIDIVE might have a few alluring curves and exciting edges, but it's also got some big ol' red flags. As, let's say progressive as HIDIVE's catalog and content might be, its applications are straight MySpace-era tech. I'll be the first to say it. HIDIVE's apps suck. It's actually a pretty terrible viewing experience overall. The website and apps seem to be built with toothpicks and held together by some unidentified sticky stuff. And I've also just crashed randomly and then logged back in to find that my shows are just missing from my queue now for some reason. Also, the servers only have two speeds, slow and convulsing. I kid you not, you're waiting sometimes 15 seconds just to see the main menu. It's also lacking a lot of basic functionality that I would consider to be mandatory in a streaming service in 2022. You may be thinking to yourself, oh, does little baby Milo need a skip intro button? Bruh, they don't even have a skip ahead or back button. When the anime OP starts, you're either watching it all the way through, or you're poking at the playback bar while playing timestamp roulette. Look, these may look like skinny fingers, but ya boy has the dexterity of a freshly birthed baby deer, and I can't be pawing at my phone trying to figure out where to put the dot to bop ahead 90 seconds. With Funimation's terrible interface and servers fading away like a bad but familiar dream, the issues with HIDIVE have become pretty glaring. It's got a lot to offer you in content, but it's lagging way behind the competition in the user experience department. I feel like they either need to step up their game or stop locking exclusives in the HIDIVE pit of despair. Aha! He said exclusives. He's finally gonna talk about what we can actually watch on HIDIVE, right? Well, yeah, I am. But first, why don't you take a second to scroll down and bop a like and subscribe for your boy. This is a brand new channel, so if you act fast and subscribe today for the low price of free $99, you can be one of the lucky few who said they were here at the start. It really means a lot to me, and it's free. Plenty more content coming in the future, and you can always unsubscribe later. Right, content. What kinds of shows are there that you can only watch on HIDIVE? Well, for starters, if you're into anime that are old as truck, a huge portion of HIDIVE's content seems to be from before the dawn of recorded history, aka 1999. If there's an old as hexkey show that you watched 2 decades ago, and you're pretty sure that was a fever dream, then check out HIDIVE's catalog. There's a decent chance it's in there. For shows from this century, we've also got a pretty decent spread. It's the summer 2022 season as of this recording, and there are 3 chunky lads as well as a couple of other gems in the mix. If you want to watch Danmachi Season 4, Made in Abyss Season 2, or Sore Ayu, you'll need a HIDIVE subscription. There's also a couple of smaller B-tier time killer shows in this season. Stuff like Call of the Night, Vermeil Gold, and My Isekai Life with an extremely long subtitle that I couldn't be bothered to remember even though I am actually quite enjoying the anime. 0. Overall, HIDIVE doesn't have the largest collection in the world, but it does have a pretty solid stable of exclusives to work through that can definitely justify the subscription for a couple of months. From last season, there's the surprise sleeper hit Ya Boy Kong Ming, and also the future fantasy I'm Quitting Heroing, which, by the way, was surprisingly really good for what I expected to be an absolute snooze fest. Reaching back even further, there's all sorts of stuff you remember seeing on Anichart over the last few years, but then forgot about because you had no idea where the heck they were airing. It's also the only place on the web to watch Lupin the Third's latest season, Part 6. That was back in March, by the way. And don't judge me for this, but the show that finally got me to sub to HIDIVE was The Demon Girl Next Door. It's basically Yuru Yuri on mushrooms, and that's saying something because Yuru Yuri is basically Lucky Star on crack. It's a real fun time. So what's the verdict? Should you sub? HIDIVE is pretty cheap overall at $5 a month. It's not something pricey like HBO or Netflix, but it is definitely the sort of monthly bill which contributes to our generation's death by a thousand cuts poverty lifestyle. If you're hesitating, you should look at the library and decide whether there's anything there you're dying to see besides the seasonal shows. Also, you need to be willing to put up with an endless supply of tiny bugs and archaic design. If that doesn't sound like something you want to deal with, and if you can avoid anime TikTok's ruthless spoilers, then I'd say wait for summer 2022 to end and just binge your shows during the free trial period. For me myself, I'm in the fortunate position that I can pretty comfortably afford HIDIVE, so I just leave it rolling. I do wish the service was better. I wish it loaded faster, and I wish it had less UI bugs, but at the end of the day, it's got a lot of shows that I really love, and so I'm gonna keep subbing to it. What about you? Are you gonna give HIDIVE a try? Is there a particular show that you'd be subscribing for? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you're still watching this video and you haven't slapped that like button or hit subscribe, then I want you to know that I am very sad, but I won't cry. Not as long as you click this other video right over here. Thanks for watching. See you next time.